Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. You are tuning in with Mandy-Lynn at Local 107.3 CFMH, your favorite only community radio station here in St. John, New Brunswick. If you are just tuning in, if you missed last week's show, it will be resyndicated next week. However, we were joined by Nick Bernstein from the Senior Vice President of Late Night Television with James Corden. Please check that out if you want. It is uploaded on the YouTube channel. And you can hear 56 minutes of Nick talking about the Late Late Show, talking about Kanye West in the airplane. Does the Queen eat French fries? Talking about all the shenanigans that the Late Night Show has been up to lately, mentioning brands on air and all the kind of things that they've been doing. Also, most importantly, how they got Nick on a horse, which is super cool. Also, make sure you check out James Corden's show, clip from last night, as they did a shout out to Canada Independent Radio, and also James roasted Nick on his Canadian debut for tuning in with Mandy-Lynn. Very, very funny. Thank you so much for that, James. Thank you so much, Nick, for being such a great sport. We certainly appreciate it. Make sure also that you are tuning in the next little bit because we will be joined by your 34th Premier of New Brunswick, Mr. Blaine, the Honorable Blaine Higgs. He will be back on the show for the third time talking about what's been going on with him. That'll be coming up shortly. But I'm very, very excited right now to talk to you about one of our very, 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 very favorite staples of arguably all of Canada. This lady made her debut in the late 80s, and we're going to talk about this in a second, but I know that everybody's really, really excited to have her on today. The amazing Cynthia Davies. Cynthia, who are you and why do we love you so much?
Oh, Mandy-Lynn, it's so sweet of you to say that. What a lovely introduction. What can I say? Well, I'm a Haligonian, born, bred, still live here, and I grew up and became a music teacher in Halifax, went to Acadia and got my degree and loved working with kiddos. And in 1987, my big choir at St. Agnes School was approached to do some Christmas commercial for Sobeys. And I'm the one that was like shoving the kids on the stage and fixing the bow and ha ha ha. And yeah, that's me. So here I am, still like around. Lots of fun. And you know, it was just an amazing experience and it touched so many people. And now I have taught children of kids who were in that commercial in 87, and their children are, and it's just like, people don't forget it. It's just like, it was a beautiful, beautiful jingle written by Bob Quinn, who's a fantastic musician here in Nova Scotia. He was based in Halifax. I think Bob is living in Cape Breton at this time, but spectacular talent, and I think he just wrote a gem for sure.
And so talk a little bit about how that got started. Did Sobeys approach you looking for your creative talent and instruction? Was this something that you had the idea? Talk me through that.
Well, I had nothing to do with the creative process as such. It was Bob's jingle, and he was working, I assume, with Sobeys, the people at Sobeys. And he called me one day, he said, Cynthia, and we knew each other from the music business in Halifax, from freelancing and things like that. He said, I need some kids to sing in a commercial. He said, have you got any kids? I said, have I got kids for you, Bob? And that was my school choir at St. Agnes School here in Halifax. And at that time, it was an elementary school from grades primary to 9. Now it's a junior high school only. But anyway, so he came out and he saw the kids and like they were just amazing. So he said, okay, I can't remember which day of the week it was. We're going to send buses and we're going to take you down to Solar Audio and we're going to record this, like the audio section. And then he said, they did it separately, of course, the video and the audio. And then he said, and then next week we'll board the buses again and off we go to then Queen Elizabeth High School here in Halifax, which has since been demolished, but and they put them right on the stage and they were spectacular. I was not to be involved in it at all, other than, you know, teacher teaching the song, da 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 da. So they did it with actual movie cameras, which was very big machinery. And I said to the kids, you don't even look at them. You look through them and you watch me. And I was stationed behind them, if you will. And I can't remember who the producer was or the director came up and they were fabulous, the kids. Well, you've seen that finished product. They're just beautiful, all of them. Absolutely. And he came up and said, we've got to get this woman in the shots. Have you got a dress with you? I said, no, I don't. We could go home and get one. So that was an afterthought for me to be in it. So the actual footage, if you will. And it was a hit. It was a hit.
And so getting all the kids ready and prepared, how were their nerves and what was that like? Like, did they understand? Some of them were super young. Did they understand the concept of TV at the time? Like, we're going to be on time. Like, did they understand that? Were they nervous? Talk me through that.
I think they weren't. I hope they weren't nervous, because that's one of the things I always like to, as a teacher through my entire career, was like, really, really get them ready, tell them exactly what to expect as much as you possibly can. And just, if you're confident, I've always found, I should say, then they will, and I say, anything has to troubleshoot, you leave that to me, and just let them know everything. This is your job. You sing that little jingle, not little jingle, but it wasn't like, like an opera or anything, but that's your gig right there. And we rehearsed it, and we were well prepared. And I said, we have to just wait for what people want, because to tell us what to do. It's like, and then we'll do it. And they were spectacular. Now the little ones, they weren't members of the choir. The little girl with no teeth, little Chrissy, so sweet, and the little fella who has his hair combed there, are brushed.
He's right here. He's right here.
Yeah,
in the
I can see his little bow tie there, his little learning tie, I called it. Anyway, but yeah, they were younger. They were younger siblings of kids in the choir, and
Okay.
they wanted some little cutaway shots like that, so they came with us. So yeah.
And that was one of your questions from Nicole. I think Nicole was wondering about, so he's like one of the famous ones from the commercial, because that is such an 80s thing of how our parents brushed our hair. Talk me through that.
Well, I don't know who brushed his hair, but it was adorable. But they came up with the shot list, the producers of the show and the directors, and I should say the commercial. And I thought what they captured, like the lovely lady writing Christmas cards, and friendly people at the store, and decorating and trimming and coming in with the tree. I think that's what I think. It's like a movie in 60 seconds. It was incredible.
Yes.
They touched everything. Kids singing in the choir, and the big opening curtain, and then it's like this beautiful. They were great. It was an amazing commercial. I thought, not just because I'm proud of it.
Did you anticipate the success of that commercial? Did you know that it was going to be that big? This is a part of Canada, arguably a part of Canada heritage.
Exactly. And I didn't, Mandy-Lynn. I didn't. No. I knew it was something special. And when I saw their faces, when the first time I saw the kids, it was like, and I can still tear up saying that, but because it was just like, you did it, and that's tough to have big machines pull in front of you, and nobody flinched an eyeball toward those cameras. They were just looking right through.
They were locked on you, and that's true testament to how comfortable you made the kids feel. I think there's a lot of kids in that shot, and they seemed so comfortable. It seemed like I want to say it seemed like everybody was just there having a great time, which I think they were, which is more of an explanation to the video.
And I think, well, thank you for the compliment for sure, but I really think that's what we were going for, because if people look uptight, then that's what comes through. But they showed the joy of singing, and the joy of performing, and the excitement and the anticipation of Christmas, and all of the above, and you're flapping your hands, and you're trying to keep everybody like up, 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 up. And I think that energy just flew right up, just came right through the cameras. So. Yeah.
And then you did a ton of interviews after all of this. And so the next question I have for you is, there was a revamp how many years ago? And talk me through that. Who reached out to you? What was that process like?
Well, one evening here in October, I think it's 5 years ago, 2016, I'm pretty sure. And the phone rang here, and it was the gal, lovely lady from Sobeys in Stellarton. And she said, we'd like to do a remake. I said, oh, really? And she said, have you still got the dress? I said, no, I don't have the dress. Anyway, but
I would love to buy that dress. We get that on eBay, Cynthia. We're gonna coin it.
Anyhow, so they did it. That Sobeys in the original commercial is Windsor Street here in Halifax, which is where I'm based. But the remake was done on Elmwood Avenue, big Sobeys in Moncton. So I was playing for a kids' choir rehearsal, non-choir rehearsal here in Halifax, and the limo picked me up at 5:30 and boom, right up to Moncton, and we shot it that night. But what I didn't know is that they had some of the original kiddos from that first shoot were standing by down on the ground, and it was just like, oh my God, it was just like incredible. Just, it was pretty emotional and pretty fun. Yeah, so
Oh,
yeah, it was really beautiful. And I think a choir from Mount A did the audio that time and enhanced the audio, and the crowd sang. And yeah, it wasn't kiddos singing that time. That was
but
pretty
what
neat.
was the feeling like? What was the feeling of the revamp? Like, how did you feel inside? Was it the same? Did it strike up some memories? Talk me through that.
It sure did strike up some memories. And I think, the one thing that I have to say is I can't believe that Sobeys has this, encompasses this Christmas thing, and it's beautiful, and they really want to have that sort of atmosphere created, and it's wonderful. Um, and they incorporated, whoever designed it, or whatever you say, they had like iPads, people standing there in iPad, and of course in 1987 we didn't have iPads, but if you watch the remake, you can see the old commercial at the same time. Somebody's watching it, and they got a shot of up at me on the platform, and two gentlemen from Toronto choir, they were terrific, and they did it, and yeah, it was really neat. But the big capper for me was when I walked down the stage off the platform, and here was one of the guys from grade 4 in that original commercial, and like, pretty cool. Yeah.
So I want to move. Thank you for all of that so much. I want to move a little bit away from the commercial side of it to kind of touch on the music, because we are a radio show, and to
Mhm.
touch on the music. So there's so many folks I know, and I think that should be part of the Canadian citizen test, really. If they start playing that song, and if you don't know the name of it, then that means you're not well vetted in Canadian history. Um, Seriously, all kidding aside, is that when that song starts up, I think that it's the feeling. And you talked a minute ago about about the Sobeys commercial telling a story. And music, you are a teacher. You have been doing this for a very long time, and very, very successful in everything you do. And talk about the power of music to people, because this is one example of probably the thousands of how music can connect people, can give you that warm, fuzzy feeling.
It definitely does. And Mandy-Lynn, especially in these COVID years, and now 2 in a row, that Christmas is going to be greatly affected for us here in the Maritimes and everyone around the world, let's face it. But I think it just strikes a chord, pardon the pun, but it just makes you feel something inside. And it's probably something you can't even describe, but it's like people that are your age and older, and even, remember that commercial well growing up, I think, and the beautiful song that Bob wrote. And I just think it touches a heartstring, pulls on a heartstring, and makes people feel good inside. And we Maritimers, we all stick together with our music, and there's so many phenomenal musicians in this end of the country and the world. And he certainly is in that category. And that little jingle right there, that is just spectacular. Yeah.
And for you, what is the biggest benefit to doing music and to teaching music? Why do you do what you do?
Well, I'm retired from the classroom now, but I still play for some honor choirs. And I just think it's a connection. I also am the accompanist for the Halifax Gay Men's Chorus. And we very thankfully we just finished 3 concerts here in Halifax on the weekend, 3 big concerts. And thankfully we got them in, because we wouldn't be able to come this week. That's all down, right? So
Yeah.
we talked about this as members of the group, and it was like, it's just the connection. It's an instant connection with people that you don't even really know very well. But music brings people together always. And, it's just one of those things that's just touches people's hearts. And yeah, it's beautiful.
Wow.
I've been
Thank you.
very, very fortunate. My husband often tells me, he said, you've got to do something you love your whole life. That's exactly
And that's what I was and that's just what I was gonna say. You're always so happy in anything that I saw you in. You're always so, like, you have one of those infectious smiles where you can feel like the excitement and passion in it. And if you're passionate, look, we talk a lot about doing what you do and doing what you love, but the passion that you exasperate in what you're doing, it's just, I feel like that comes across to the folks that you're working with. Do you think?
I hope so, because that's it's nothing if you don't share it, right? That's how I figure. It's got to be, and you want to pull the best out of everybody you're working with and give your very best back. It's always a two-way street. Yeah.
Always a 2-8. That's a good way to say it. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today. If you just want to hang on the line, we're going to hit stop recording. But I want to thank you, everyone, for tuning in with Mandy-Lynn at 107.3 CFMH, joined here by the lovely Cynthia from the amazing Sobeys commercial 1987 and Sobeys commercial 2016, Cynthia?
Yep. 2016, I'm pretty sure. And Merry Christmas to all your listeners and happy holidays.
And did you want to sing a line out to sing us out on it from the commercial?
I've got a bit of a scratchy cold, so I don't think so. But
we will put it in the bottom. All right, hang on one second. I am just going to hit stop recording right now. Everybody, and we are going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by the Honorable Blaine Higgs.